Dear future and prospective peers alike, I am Kimberly Good, a master's student in the Technical Communications program here at Texas Tech University. I am here today to introduce you to alumni Dr. Lora Arduser. As it is important to know the faculty one will encounter as a graduate student in the Technical Communications and Rhetoric program, it is equally as important to know the students the program has produced as well. Seeing as former students can provide a bit more insight on the student experience or other experiences, as well as the impact the program will hopefully have on you as a future researcher and or teacher. Therefore, it is my hope that you will all get a gist of who Dr. Arduser is as both a former student and a current academic scholar and educator, a sense of what the Technical Communications and Rhetoric program could offer you, as well as sage advice concerning research. Currently an associate professor at the University of Cincinnati, Dr. Arduser serves as the director of the Professional Writing Department of English and Comparative Literature. She teaches rhetoric and professional writing to both graduate and undergraduate students. Her research interests include medical and health communication, rhetorical agency, risk, and patient illness narratives, namely of patients with chronic illnesses such as diabetes. In fact, quite a number of her research deals with patients with diabetes. Dr. Arduser holds a Bachelor of Arts degree in English Literature, a Master of Arts degree in Anthropology, a Master of Arts in English with a concentration in professional writing, as well as a PhD in Technical Communication and Rhetoric. Prior to becoming an academic, Dr. Arduser worked as a professional writer and editor in a variety of settings and has published a variety of technical documents ranging from textbook publication to the development of reports and proposals for an archaeology company. Out of her desire for professional development, Dr. Arduser decided to go back to school for a graduate certificate. As part of the certificate program, students were required to do a teaching internship. Dr. Arduser's teaching experience, in her words, was a train wreck.
I worked as a professional writer and editor for probably a decade and a half or so. Worked in different places, did textbook publishing, actually worked for an archaeology company for a while doing reports and proposals. And then just as a matter of like professional development, I decided to go back for a graduate certificate and I got hooked. So it was like our program required an internship. So I decided to do a teaching internship just because I'd never done that before. And it was a horrible experience. It was a train wreck. But I was like, but I like this, even though it was a train wreck. So I decided to pursue the PhD at that point.
Essentially, Dr. Arduser's professional evolution started with her interest in teaching. Her education pursuits were primarily to become a better teacher, yet it was later in her academic career that her interest in research and her research interests developed.
As I started thinking about the PhD program, and so I think when I was doing my MA, it was more thinking about teaching. And then as I was, learning about the PhD and thinking about what I wanted to do in terms of research, I knew it was going to have to be something to do with medical and health communication. Um, I didn't know exactly what at that point, but I knew that general area. So I started looking online at different programs and came across Amy Kerber's work and just thought it sounded like a really interesting fit for me.
And what a fit it was. Dr. Arduser has become quite an esteemed medical and health communication researcher. Since achieving her PhD, Dr. Arduser has published a plethora of research articles and book chapters and contributions and book reviews, gave numerous invited talks, and has conducted or consulted several grant-funded research projects. Although not the sole reason for her success, Texas Tech's Technical Communication and Rhetoric program, also known as TCR, has played an instrumental role in shaping who Dr. Arduser is as a researcher in terms of her understanding of research and the research process.
Texas Tech is one of the few programs I think that has you take the number of research classes that they have you take, which I think I have to give them applause for that. So I think that in doing that, it helped me to understand a lot of pieces of the process that I wasn't aware of. So it was in Becky's, I can't remember the name of the class now. We did mini projects where we actually had to create IRB protocols, and I'd never done anything like that before. So it kind of helped me to see what some of those, what I might call background pieces, look like, and helped me to understand what all was involved in the entire research process. It also showed me some of the connections to my own previous experience that were actually quite nicely fit in technical communication that I didn't realize. So I got an MA in anthropology, and I took Ken Bach's field methods class, and we talked a lot about ethnography. And I had no idea that that was even a thing in tech comm. So those intersections became really interesting, and what I learned from the faculty on that was really helpful for me to think about in terms of which directions my research can speak. I would say, like, faculty members, Amy and Ken and Becky were all instrumental in to helping me learn how to be a good researcher.
Equally as impactful, Dr. Arduser's research experiences have aided in her development as a researcher. From these experiences, she offers students pivotal research and even teaching advice.
Make sure it's something you're really interested in, because this is going to stay with you for a very long time. So my dissertation became transformed into my book project. So I was probably working on that for a good 10 years between the dissertation and then transitioning it into a book and then having it get published. So you have to have that kind of stamina with the subject. And also, think about access. What do you have access to? Because that can be very tricky if you're doing, especially in the medical communication field. So having access to whatever kind of data you need can be tricky. And a lot of people, it's just, it's networking, and if you can do as much of that as possible and figure out how to get that access, it can be time consuming, but it's an important thing to have. So my advice for the students would be the opposite of research. I would say talk, talk, talk. I mean, ask questions. Try to meet as many people as you can. Don't be afraid of the just walking up to somebody that you think might be scary and introducing yourself. At a conference, I would say just meet as many people as you can and ask as many questions as you can, because there's always a nugget that you're going to find, and you might find like some new lead to whatever you're working on, and a new friend, colleague down the road. The amount of marketing that you do as a faculty, you have to put on. I had no idea that how much we did in terms of marketing our classes, kind of marketing ourselves. I think just knowing that is something that is going to be a piece of your life would be helpful. I was just taken a little surprised by that. It's like, wait, what? They don't just come, the students don't just come to you automatically and think this is the greatest thing in the world. Sometimes you have to work a little.
In conclusion, Dr. Arduser's evolution from mere professional writer and editor to esteemed medical and health communications researcher is a great example of the journey one day you may take as a future student in the Technical Communications and Rhetoric program. The TCR program is filled with amazing staff, amazing students, and hopefully, as you could tell from this video on Dr. Arduser, amazing alumni. I welcome you all to this wonderful network, and I look forward to meeting each and every one of you.